Hey, welcome back to another episode of Ultimate Potential, a mental health podcast. We are excited today, we meaning myself, because Tony Mosier is stuck on I-15 traffic. So my co-host is not here today, but we have a very special guest with us today. Her name is Erin Schmitt, and we are really privileged to have you here as our guest. So looking forward to get to know you a little bit more today. So Erin, how long have we known each other? What's it been?
I think about 3 years. I'm coming up on 3 years as the parent liaison.
Yeah.
I didn't know you as much when my son was here.
Right.
But 4 years ago today, we dropped our son off at Telos.
Okay. So
So
it's been actually a short time. It actually feels longer than that for me, but I don't know, maybe shorter for you. But so we hired you at Telos to be our parent liaison. Can you share with our guests what that means? What do you do?
So, as the parent liaison, I am here to welcome in parents and help them get situated and comfortable with the program, and just explain how things work from a parent's perspective. What is it like to have your son at Telos? Um, and it's just I find there was a parent liaison here when my son was here, and it's very comforting
Yeah.
to have a parent on the inside who's walked the journey before you, who knows a little bit more and can come alongside and support you in that.
In general, right? And you don't have to go into your whole story, right? Because we probably don't have time for the whole story. But can you just share with the audience a little bit how it was for you as a parent when you were struggling to make the decision, figure out whether or not your son needed a place like Telos? And tell us a little bit about that history.
It was a very difficult decision. We had been struggling with our son for several years. Just he had been in therapy. We had tried medication. Um, we were reading books. We were just trying to do all the things that we knew how to do as parents at home to help him succeed. And when all of those things did not work and there was so much chaos in our home, um, we really were at a loss for what to do. And I'm from Georgia. Um, there's not a lot of therapists that really know um, what to do in those types of situations. And I found that to be true with our family therapist. Um, we also did not know anybody who had made the same decisions we were trying to make or been through what we were going through. So we didn't really have, you know, any peers to talk to.
Right.
So it was a very lonely, isolating place to be. We did put in touch with an education consultant, and that probably was the first time talking to him that I felt like, oh, he understands what I'm talking about when I say, my son is doing these things at home. You don't always see it outside of the home,
Right.
but he was able to kind of explain to us, the 3 jobs that a kid has.
Right.
Go to school and succeed, have friends, and get along with your family. And if they're failing in one of those, or especially more, then it may be time to look outside the
Yeah.
home for treatment. And so that's talking to him was really helpful in making that decision. Um, but still a very terrifying decision to make.
It's a big deal, right?
It is a big deal. And we started with wilderness therapy and had no idea that our son would not come home after wilderness therapy. We had never heard of residential treatment
And
at
so
that time.
and most students who go to wilderness therapy don't go to residential treatment. So that process of thinking, assuming, hey, we're going to try this intervention,
Mhm.
and then the intervention's going, and it's not necessarily going bad either, but then all of a sudden you're advised, like, talk to us about how that hit you emotionally, and how did you wrap your mind around this new concept of, oh, even though your son is in wilderness and even doing okay,
Hmm.
he's not ready to come home. He needs something more. Talk
Hmm.
to us about that.
Yeah, I think, it was definitely shocking to come to that realization. I I wasn't happy about sending my child away, of course, but it felt a little more palatable to think about 2 or 3 months,
Mhm.
you know,
Mhm.
to just establish some new coping skills and patterns and then come back to the family with some new skills and we could move on with our lives. Um, so as he got more into the wilderness program and we started hearing about residential treatment, um, it actually made a lot of sense to me
Okay.
because just the way that I feel like our son is hardwired, he needed extra time to really develop the new coping skills and practice them.
So once you found out and you understood the process, it wasn't as hard because it's like, "Oh, this makes sense. This is probably what he needs."
Yeah, and it's a step down
Yeah.
from the wilderness,
Yeah.
when I think about it now, yeah, I'm really glad we made that decision because I can't imagine him having come home from the wilderness
Mhm.
and expecting him to like, he's stripped of everything out there, and then all of a sudden, he's back in his regular life with the
Right.
technology, with the friends, with the same school, and be able to make those adjustments.
Right.
That feels like a very unfair expectation for him.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, and it's so many times you know, people think, "Oh, he's doing so well and he's so," and the young people themselves, they're like, I did it. I'm successful. I
Mhm.
can do this now. I feel like I have the skills." But the wilderness itself and the structure, the nature structure of the fact that they don't really get tested. They get tested physically and environmentally, right?
Yes.
And
Yeah.
they learn these basic communication skills to get along. But then they haven't really proven it in a setting where, oh, this is more like real life. Like I
Mhm.
have to actually be able to get up and go to school and, get along with people and study and all these other things, right?
Yes. Follow
Yeah.
rules. And that was, he did make so much progress in the wilderness.
Yeah.
But a misconception that I came into residential treatment with is that progress would be a slow and steady continuation.
Yeah. Not the
I
case.
was not expecting the roller coaster ride that we
Mhm.
had,
Mhm.
and that was really difficult.
It's hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, I don't think that any family, even when it's predicted, right, even when it's well explained, the
Mhm.
process of this up and down, it's never easy.
No, and there's always hope.
And that yeah.
You hope your child is gonna be, the one that can do it.
Yeah.
I mean, I genuinely thought I was a little on the fence, like, maybe he doesn't need residential treatment,
Mhm.
but I think it's a good idea for him, and he'll probably kinda breeze through it. He might be one of their easier kids.
Right.
That was not the case.
Not the case.
No.
Well, okay, so now that right, he went through treatment and you worked hard, he worked hard, and he's home, and then we call you and say, hey, do you want to replace our old parent liaison who I think did this job for I don't know 15 years or something, quite a while,
She
right?
did, yeah. She was the
And
original.
yeah,
Mhm,
the original, right? And you said yes. Since that time, about 3 years,
mhm,
right? What have you noticed the themes like because you're seeing it now from a new perspective, right?
mhm,
It's different going through it as a parent, but now that you're a liaison, right? You're still a parent,
mhm.
and you're still like more one of the clients than you are really the Telos employee, right?
Yes, mhm,
And we want you to feel that way,
mhm,
but you've picked up on themes, I'm sure. What have you learned about, kind of the majority of what the families their needs are, or what their questions are or what their fears are? What have you noticed about the themes?
I think at the end of the day, like the bottom line is parents want to know that their kid is in a safe place
Okay.
with people who genuinely care about them and are going to do their best to build a relationship with them and influence them in a positive way. So, I if you can secure that trust in parents, I mean, really anything else can be
Yeah.
worked out.
Yeah.
Um, so it's a lot of reassurance. I mean, in the beginning, usually I'm just talking to parents about their experience.
Mhm.
So, what was it like at home? What led you guys into treatment? How's your son doing now? How are you? Most importantly,
Mhm.
how are you doing and how are you handling everything? So, um, just a lot of parent support.
Yeah.
And I'm just an easy person for parents to come to with any questions.
Yeah.
You can always just start with me.
Right.
If I can't answer it, I'm going to point you in the right direction. Um, occasionally parents do come to me with concerns that they have,
Mhm.
and we talk through those. Is it a normal part of treatment? Is it not? Is it something that needs to be addressed? In which case, I'm happy to intervene with
Mhm.
their permission.
Right.
I consider my conversations with them confidential,
Right.
so I don't pass those along unless they would like me to.
Okay.
And it's I think it's just comforting. It's reassuring to parents to have that
Yeah.
available to them.
If you are a parent, right, and you are in desperate need of help and you're kind of i- introduced to this, but you feel so desperate for it almost, right? And then you find out that, oh, this placement is a long way away, or it's with all these people I've never met before, and they're literally going to be taking care of my child 24/7.
Mhm.
And the website's nice, and the admissions people are nice, and even the first day, like, everybody's nice, and they all say that it's gonna be good, like, that's not enough, really, nor should it be enough for a
Mhm.
parent to fully trust,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
So part of your role is actually helping that deepen and helping a family go from hope and that initial, like, "Well, it feels good and it sounds good and I'm desperate," to actually saying, "No, this is the real deal. These people actually do care, and they are good at what they're doing."
Yes.
That's
Yeah. I think I always, when my son was here, I did feel that genuineness of the staff. And, we did a lot of research before we picked Telos. Um, we came for a tour. All of that was nice. And then, but I got an email from the parent liaison before our son enrolled, and I was like, wow, okay, they thought of everything. You know, that was such a comfort to me,
that's good.
and why I really enjoy giving
Actually
back in
doing
that
that, right.
way. Yeah, yeah, just because it helped me so much, and you feel like you have an ally on the inside. So I think in the back of every parent's head is always going to be the fear of, what if I send my child to treatment
Mhm.
and something bad happens?
Yeah. It's, it's so natural to do that. So for you, right, you're just one level y your role is just one level deeper to try to earn that trust, right? So that we can
Absolutely.
allow families to maybe sleep at night and not worry so much.
Yes. It's often just the simple things,
Mhm.
you know? A boy might miss their phone call,
Mhm.
and when you only talk to your son twice a week,
Yeah.
that's a really
It's a
big
big
deal
deal.
for families. I mean, we used to plan, my son's phone calls. We planned our entire Sunday around that.
Yeah.
We want brother and sister to be there. Um, and I think sometimes, because I know staff is busy and the boys are busy and they forget,
Yeah.
they don't realize that there's a whole family at home just
Their
staring at the
way.
phone.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just being able to connect them and, fix little problems like that,
Yeah.
those make a big difference.
Okay, here might maybe a harder question, maybe
Mhm.
not. Um, what do the families what is it that the families don't know that they need that they really need? Like what do you try to give them or help them to understand that they don't understand at the first part? of the journey?
That's probably different for every family.
Okay.
So I tell them what I didn't know,
Okay.
which was um, that it's going to be a bumpy road,
Hmm.
most likely.
Yeah.
That was probably my biggest misconception,
Yeah.
thinking that things would go a lot smoother, and to not be discouraged by that, because there's often a lot of learning that happens during those really hard times.
Yeah. It's like it's mindset, but our culture these days is very much, the role of a parent is to keep your kids safe and to make their life easier and to help them be more successful and to take away all their misery and their pain.
Mhm.
And, old school, I think maybe it was like, oh, the role of a parent is to make a kid's life a little tougher and help them to learn how to suffer and find meaning. And when you look at life, everything that hurts and is painful and is hard is meaningful. And the easy stuff gets really shallow really quick, right? And so
Yeah.
it's when you're talking about life and death situations at the level where you need residential care, it's hard to it's hard to appreciate the difficult times, but it really is right? Like, when things go bad,
It is. Yeah,
that's
and
really what pushes a family forward, right?
it is. And I see that the growth that I've had in myself, I couldn't be who I am today without having been through
Right.
everything with my son, and I'm proud of that.
Yeah, you should be.
Um,
Yeah,
and proud of him.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't wish it on anyone,
Absolutely not.
but you can always appreciate the reality that without hard things, um, your own depth is limited, right?
Right.
So,
It's hard to really grasp that concept when you're in the middle of it, though.
yeah,
When things are looking hopeless and there's poor choice after poor choice after poor choice, and you're thinking things are not gonna get better, and we're not guaranteed that they will. That
right,
also was hard for me, something that I had to really work on for myself. How am I gonna be okay even if my son is not okay?
right.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah, I mean, aren't we all as parents in the same boat? Uh, even for families who have not gone through the residential treatment experience or this, the severe disruption or disability or whatever,
Mhm.
um, just realizing eventually that you have very little control, right? And it happens. I know that you're not at this phase yet, but all of my children are adults, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
And now with grandchildren and just realizing that this concept that you can control everything or that you know that you're creating a child rather than just getting to know this
Yeah.
child that is yours. um it's a sense of powerlessness, right? And I guess the faster you learn that, probably the easier it is to deal with
There's actually more freedom
their
once you lean into that
yeah.
and surrender that control that you never really had.
Mhm.
I found a lot of freedom in that. And I was able to focus the work on myself and show up for my son in a consistent way that didn't involve matching his mood or his choices,
Yeah.
and that's freeing for the child as well.
We don't do this to very many of our guests, but we try to, like, prep you, like, "Here's some questions we might ask."
Mhm.
But then sometimes we just pull up random questions that are hard.
Okay.
You ready for one of those?
Okay.
What does this give you? Like, you working for us, doing this job, what does it give you? You don't need the money, so you clearly are doing it for a reason. Why do you love this work?
Um, it's given me so much purpose for everything that we've been through.
Mhm.
And when the position became available, I, I discussed it with my son and asked him if he would would be okay if if I worked at Telos and
Mhm.
told him why I wanted to do it. Um, and he was supportive of it. He said, I don't ever want to go back there with you, but
Right.
go ahead. He has since been back.
Sure.
um, but for me, I just respect and admire every parent who walks through the doors at Telos
Yeah.
so much. And I see the love that they have for their child, and the hope that they have. And I just enjoy walking alongside them
Yeah.
and doing for them what was really vital for me.
It's inspiring. Um, People often ask me, sometimes they get feisty because the common person, people who know what I do,
Hmm.
and of course, families on your side
Hmm.
of the table, they feel this from the culture. They see it on social media, on the internet, and articles and people's attitudes. But so many families that are in need, they feel this sense of judgment from other people, right?
Absolutely.
And so, you know, random people who I like or whatever, random in the street people that I've known for years, where they know what I do. But then when you sit down and they're having this discussion, not everyone, but so many people just say, "Oh, it," and they say something like, "Oh, yeah, isn't this?" I mean, something about the parents, right? It's like it's this inherent parent blame game.
Hmm.
And I've just, I've been doing this for 32 years, and I just get really feisty and defensive. Like I just like come on point. I'm like, actually, no, there are very few of our families that have severe pathology or that cause their kid to do this, or
Hmm.
like this has nothing to do. Like just like it's not anyone's fault when a kid gets cancer, right? Like,
Right.
and so I get super defensive, but then, as you know, because you
Hmm.
sit in these groups with me
Yeah.
for over 3 decades, I sit in the initial parent group after admission, right? So
Hmm.
usually, 2 weeks to 6 weeks after they first come in, we sit in this group together. That group is the highlight of my professional life, right?
Yeah.
And the reason why I choose to keep doing it when I don't have to is because it just inspires me. Like, it's better than going to a movie for inspiration. It's better than, you know, I'm I like religion. I read scriptures, but I feel way less inspired when I read scripture than when I sit in those groups, because what I see is real life,
Yeah.
and what I'm impressed with is the courage and the strength and the level of love and commitment and desperation and hurt and pain and suffering and you name it.
Hmm.
But month after month, after year, and decade after decade, I get re-inspired, and it just helps me to know that what I'm doing is meaningful. Helps
Yeah.
me get up in the morning and say, I'm excited to go to work.
Yeah.
And I think if I were doing all the things that I do at Telos without that every 8 weeks that I meet with those families and do that support group, I think I would be burned out, honestly.
It, yes, I could see how you would say that
Yeah.
because you guys have a very challenging job. It's not easy to get up every day and show up and deal with some of the circumstances that you guys deal with. So I can see how that would be refreshing to know who's, we're alongside the journey, but we're a little bit behind the scenes. You're not seeing our faces every
Right.
day.
Right.
It's a good reminder of who's at home,
Yeah.
working really hard on themselves and in family therapy to be able to make things work for their
Yeah.
child at home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, okay. If if you had to, from all of your history and all of your experience and the 3 years that you've been doing this work, um, most of I guess one of the reasons, I would say one of the top 3 reasons that we decided to do this podcast is for families that are struggling, that are out there and that have barely found out that this is even an option,
Mhm.
and that don't really have an opportunity or haven't had the opportunity to really understand all the different the deeper levels of what mental health treatment can be and could be, and so a lot of families will listen to this podcast and then they're like, "Oh, that rings right, that rings true to me," or "I'm so grateful that I heard that advice."
Mhm.
So of all the things that you could say to our listeners, right, particularly those that are struggling with teenagers that may need this level of care, what is the advice that you have for them? It's a really long question.
My advice would be to just keep showing up and hang in there and find the support that you need. There's a lot of really great online support groups that you can look into. You've got to be able to have a space to talk to people who understand what you're going through. Because when you're isolated and feeling alone on the journey, um, it just makes things that much harder. And I would also encourage people to really, take care of themselves. If you need to find your own therapist, find a new hobby, just anything that you can do that allows you to show up in a healthy way for your child. I think, for me, I just wanted to be able to look back on my son's childhood and say, I did everything I could.
Mhm.
I did everything I could, and I don't wanna have any regrets about that. I did not do it perfectly,
No one
but
does.
I worked really hard and did everything. So just not giving up and just continuing to look for resources and, um, investigating.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's great. Great advice.
Mhm.
So keep your head up, keep moving forward, don't give up, and find support. Like,
Yeah,
get
because it can feel
some
really
support.
hopeless,
Yeah,
and that's a hard place to feel stuck in.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Erin, you are um, such a great resource for our families, right? And are there's a reason why this was offered to you. It's because I think you really do understand. You have a deep level of compassion, and you have such a optimistic, positive attitude about this whole process. And
Mhm.
so I want to publicly on this podcast thank you for all the work that you've done, and thank you for your time today. Do you have any resources, or do you want to make like a personal plug? I don't even know. Like maybe you're an author or something I don't know about, but
No, I don't have anything cool
now's
like
the
that.
time. Like you can like do anything you want if you want to promote yourself or someone else, or if you have any resources for families or listeners that are listening today that you would suggest, and you don't even have to have an answer to that. But
You know, um, honestly, the podcast that you guys did fairly recently with Christina Buttons,
Mhm.
um, she's an investigative journalist that
Yeah,
looks into the, treatment industry and the negative media coverage of it. I think every parent should listen to that.
yeah,
I really do. That to me was just so eye-opening,
mhm,
and, for parents who may be scared to send their son into treatment, um, that's a really good resource, I
yeah,
think.
great.
That's a good one. I I also really like the book The Anxious Generation.
Hmm. Yeah,
I think because, to me, the cell phones and social media and technology in general has just done so much damage
yeah.
to all the kids.
Amen to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's a good one. And then there's a there's a quote that I like that I'll just
Okay.
end with that, and I'm paraphrasing. Um, but it says, my child's success is not my validation, and their struggles are not my failures. I can care deeply without caring at all. And that is kind of the lessons that I've picked up over this time and how I try to live now of just, I do care deeply and I'm engaged and I'm supportive, but I don't take what's not mine anymore.
That is super cool and beautiful. It reminds me of Brad Reedy's stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. My son was in his wilderness program.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Anyway, so yeah,
yeah.
um, fabulous. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for having me.
Listeners, until next time, remember that mental health matters.
Thanks for listening. Your mental health journey is so important to us. We'd love your help spreading the word so we can reach as many people as possible. Don't forget to share, like, and subscribe here on our social media or wherever you access your podcasts. Thanks.